Strongest man.
Hello there. A special day has dawned here in Botswana. In front of this young republic's founding fathers, the 10 most powerful men on the planet have assembled. From Iceland to Poland, from the United States to Stoke, they've answered the call to arms and pushed and pulled the impossible to reach this point. Well, now the wait is almost over. It's the grand final of the Callgenics World's Strongest Man.
After enduring the intense heat of battle in Botswana, the last 10 men standing who have made it through to the grand final are now recharged with raw power at this, the 40th edition of World's Strongest Man. It is a landmark moment on a continent that has played a vital role in evolution. And now the strongest of the species will battle for the ultimate crown. Some carry the weight of history. Legends Brian Shaw and Zydrunas Savickas are both targeting a record-equaling title number 5. Others carry the weight of expectation. Lawrence Shahlaei and Eddie Hall aim to become the first victor from Britain in 24 years. The heat of pressure threatens to melt the ambition of Hafthor Julius Bjornsson. The Icelander has been on the podium 5 times, yet remains uncrowned. Giant stars, rising stars. The new generation ready to shine and eclipse their rivals. The strongest grand final field has now aligned to take on 6 events, at the end of which history will be made as we witness the unleashing of ultimate power.
Wow. Well, they're calling this the strongest lineup of finalists we've ever had. Magnus van Magnussen won this 4 times. Brian Shaw looking to win it for a 5th time. Who's he going to be most worried about?
Well, Eddie Hall is wanting to bring this title to England. And Hafthor is wanting to bring it back to Iceland.
Yeah. It would be incredible if Eddie could take it. 24 years we've been waiting for a British champion.
You sure have, and he's the man to do it.
Wow. Well, we shall see. We're looking forward to this, aren't we, Magnus?
Sure are.
OK, let's get straight away over to Sarah Jane at the first event.
Thanks, James. Up next, it is the first event of the grand final, the tyre flip. Now, these tyres weigh half a tonne, and our athletes will need to flip them 6 times as quick as they can in the space of just 60 seconds. It's set to be an explosive start to the grand final, so let the games begin.
And standing by with the flipping commentary are mighty Colin Bryce and Big Danny Wallace.
Thanks, James. So this is going to be great. And the first event, as Sarah Jane said, the tyre flip. 6 flips is what it takes. 1 minute to flip half a tonne, those half dozen times. Kieliszkowski, the mighty Pole. Great things expected of him. Up against Britain's own, Swindon's own, Lawrence Shahlaei. And this guy, one to watch. It's Lissis. One of the most exciting competitors in this competition. Made an amazing debut last year. And the legend, Savickas, Big Z, 4-time World's Strongest Man champion. Will this be a 5th? Caron from Canada, 6-time Canada's Strongest Man. Managed 5th place last year. Wants to do better. 6 flips is what it takes, Colin.
And we're underway, and Caron closest to camera here. He's flipped the heaviest tyre in history, so it's one of his fortes. But Kieliszkowski on the far side, kicking up a lot of dust in the lead.
And this is just a huge weight.
Oh, massive. I mean, tyres you might have seen before in competition, 300, 350 kilos, but this, half a tonne. And one more flip for JF, and he's there.
Well, look at that. If he manages this, the Canadian will be leading. He does. And Kieliszkowski comes in second. Now it's between Charlet and Lissis for third. Will it be the Brit or the American? It looks like the Brit has edged it, but what has happened to Zaviskas?
I'm not sure, Danny. I don't think he's injured. It is very exhausting, this, and well, maybe he's not recovered from the heats fully.
Well, he managed 3 flips. Charlet beat Lissis by under a tenth of a second. And Caron's time of 31.56, the time that the next set will have to beat.
And even he struggled on the last flip. That's hard work.
We move then to America's Nick Best. Only qualified for the grand final once before, back in 2010, finished 6th. The Georgian, Janashia, second time here. Finished 4th last year. Wants to be on that podium. This man, no stranger to the podium, the reigning world's strongest man, Brian Shaw. And Brian, of course, wants to make it 5 to equal the record. Eddie Hall. Needs no introduction, but I'm contractually obliged to give him one. And, of course, the mountain. Bjornsson from Iceland, 6'9". Managed second place last year. And you know that's not enough for him.
Hands on! The start's crucial. Who's going to get down and get the first flip over with? And all of them got a grip. It's tricky to grip. You see there Bjornsson, he's reaching around, hoping the tyre stops bouncing. And there's actually Bjornsson who's in the lead at the moment. Surprising, because he's the tallest man here. He's got the longest way to go down.
And Nick Best struggling at the back there.
3 men almost in a row here.
Look at that.
Definitely Shaw's, and then Bjornsson, and what happened to Janashia? He just hit a wall there. He was absolutely equal with the other 2. That's good news for Eddie Hall, because he sneaks ahead of another man, and really bad news for Janashia.
Janashia's done with 5 flips. But Brian Shaw takes it in 27.28, meaning he takes the lead.
And that was some of the most alpha male shouting I think I've ever seen. That this is my contest.
From me, you mean?
I mean, almost as much as Brian there, Danny, yes. He is the man.
Now, Brian, that was a tight race, one that you got the win on, though.
Yeah, it was very important for me to come out and set the tone here in the final, get the win on the first event, and yeah, off to a good start now.
Can't wait to see what you do next. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Brian. Bjornsson, the only other man to get a sub-30-second time, with Caron and Kieliszkowski 3rd and 4th. Further down, the big story is last place for Z. He's often a slow starter. He's certainly continuing that here. Still, if he does squat in our next event, that won't work out too badly, because that's what's coming up in the grand final here in Botswana. Welcome back to beautiful Botswana. So far, Brian Shaw and Hapthor Bjornsson are the early leaders. Event 3 is standing by, so without beating about the bush, over to Sarah Jane and Magnus.
Thanks, James. Up next, it's all about the squat lift, where our athletes will have to get as many reps as possible in the space of 60 seconds using this 320-kilogram bar. Magnus, we have some of the best squatters in the world in the grand final. Let's talk about them.
Well, we sure have. We got Eddie Hall, we got Big C, and Lawrence Charlet, and they definitely want to make up some points here.
They certainly do. Now, talk me through the perfect technique for the squat, because it's not easy, is it?
No, this is not easy. This is a thicker than a normal bar. Way is much more awkward, and you got to be really careful on your balance when you take it down. If you hit it not right, it can throw you off, and you lose it off your back.
Well, it sounds incredibly tricky, but I, for one, am very much looking forward to this one. Best of luck, guys.
So the squat lift. Classic world's strongest man event. 60 seconds. How many times can they lift it? 320 kilos. As Magnus said, balance is key. This who's already been. Janashia managed 2 reps in the squat lift, while Kieliszkowski managed 3. Nick Best from America, currently in 3rd, managed 6 reps. And Lissis, 13 reps. Wait for it though, because Caron did the same. So 13 is what our next athlete will have to beat. And Zaviskus, who's had a slow start, needs to make this work.
Well, we're in this comfort zone now. Welcome to Big Z's house, the squat. This is how he started his career in strength 2 decades ago. Oh, this is exactly the same weight as it was in the heats, if you saw it then. This isn't a fake weight. Big Z is banging this out. Got to be careful, though. What he doesn't want to do is start to get a little squint and hit one pad before the other. It'll kick him off balance.
Well, he's up to 10 already with 30 seconds left to go. 13 to beat. Takes it to 12. How much more's he got? That's 13.
He might not run around well anymore, but he sure can squat, and off.
Well, he's done enough to tie for first. 13 reps from Zaviskus.
I'm sure the hardcore faithful of World's Strongest Man will love seeing that. Big Z. He might be just a little down on what he once was, but he's still a monster squatter. Look at the pressure he was under.
Now, Z, after a disappointing first event, you came back and you absolutely smashed it with the squat lift. How do you feel?
I feel good. I expected to do more reps, but today my legs feels tired. I don't know why, but I'm happy with 13 reps. I think not so bad for me.
Charlet then, from Britain. One of the best squatters on the planet.
You bet. Every time he's done squat, he's won it in the past. But likewise, he did get injured in this event. So, and a few years ago in China, he maybe was just showing off that day. Did one too many.
Well, he's up to 8, just over 30 seconds.
Taking his time at the top, trying to stop that bar rolling. If it starts to rotate backwards, you're in a world of hurt. Oh, working the bounce there, Danny. He's not got much left now.
20 seconds for him to beat 13. He's up to 12.
Oh, his core is starting to wobble around, and he's down.
That. Man. An awkward bounce there.
Down and back up again, quickly to show he was all right. It's always a worrying moment for everybody, that. And last time Lawrence went down like that, he stayed down. Look, you see the core of his body there. People talk about core strength. That's what it's all about. It was wobbling around. He had just fatigued his center too much and couldn't support the weight.
So Eddie Hall getting ready. 24 years since we've had a British winner. Capes, Reeves, Taylor, Hall.
Well, Jeff Capes, what a legend he was. Twice in the 80s. Still a household name. Now the big policeman. Overtaken by Jamie Reeves in 89. Glorious for the coal miner. And then the Welshman, Gary Taylor, in 93. 24 years since a Brit stood on top of the podium at World's Strongest Man. But this guy, Eddie Hall from Stoke, probably stands a better chance than anybody. Let's see how he gets on in one of his favorite events here, Danny.
There's enough weight on his shoulders without this.
I don't think Eddie Hall really thinks about the past. He's got a feeling of destiny in his future. He said many times he's going to win this contest. Now there's double figures. This is unbelievable.
Over 30 seconds to go. He's already at 12. Incredible in static events. 14.
How far can he go?
15 reps for Britain's Eddie Hall, just one of the greatest. That is actually the highest amount of reps on this bar in history. Look at that, he gave it his all. That's how much he wants it, Colin. He kind of went mad.
I think that's a great description, yeah. In comes the oxygen. There's Dr. Richard Smith and his team. He says, I'm fine, though. Brian Shaw watching on. Wow. He knows Hall's going to put everything into this, and he's going to have to double down to beat him.
Well, he beat those 13 reps and he put some distance as well for the other guys to make up.
I mean, Hall's got a great squat, probably the best squat here, but that's for 1 rep. So Eddie went at it as fast as he could, so he didn't tire.
Well, he's set a real challenge. Will Hafthor rise to it? Man has come so close so many times.
I'm here to win. I'm in good shape right now. No injuries, except I got a virus called Bell's palsy. Half of my face is paralyzed, so I cannot move nothing here. The doctor said it will recover, but it takes time. It's not a beauty contest, so I'm fine. It doesn't affect my strength. I've been 3 times third place, 2 times second. Being so close every year the last 5 years, it just makes me hungrier to reach my goal, to become the world's strongest man.
Take it out.
And it's his turn now.
Ready. Squat.
Crowd favourite.
Well, at 6'9", you expect him to be a poor squatter. Au contraire. He probably prefers this to deadlift. Look at him. Well in control here. Ooh, got sent off to the side there. You must try and touch those pads at the same time, but it'll kick you off. He's so strong, he pulled it back in, though.
Up to 8. 15 to beat, of course.
Bit more deliberate now, isn't he?
Just taking his time.
Too deliberate, perhaps. He's got to be careful. He'll start to tire. Though his legs still look good. It's his core's wobbling a bit. 11 reps.
Well, 14 would put him in second place. Has he got that in him? No. This is not good. He's exhausted himself.
Yeah, his coach is running in there to get his belt off him and let him start to breathe a bit better. Richard Smith's earning his money today, the doctor. Getting through the oxygen. This is going to be a brutal final. And that's the man in the lead still.
Well, this heat really not helping the Icelandic hero.
Good job. Well, he was listening to his coach there, and probably quite sensibly, because he went a bit too fast, too early. Started going off balance, but then pulled it back in, but never really recovered the speed of reps he needed.
So Brian Shaw psyching himself up. Man who comes from a long line of American legends, Colin.
Yeah, the first year it was held in America, Bruce Wilhelm, the Olympic weightlifter, he won it, and then won it again the following year. And it was Don Reinholt, the power lifter, followed by Bill Kazmaier. Kaz won it 3 years in a row, 80 to 82. There was a big hiatus before Pfister won it in 06, though, and then 2011, Brian Shaw started to win, and 4 titles he's got now. The reigning champion, and leading this contest. He's just so strong.
And what a man to go last. Only Brian can now beat Eddie Hall. 15 to beat.
Arguably the strongest man in history. Of course, Pudzianowski has 5 titles. He's got 4, same as Zydrunas, but he just doesn't have any weaknesses. He's so huge as well.
No, Eddie was keeping a keen eye. Obviously, Brian is all about control today, it seems, but with that control comes a lack of speed.
Yes, but I don't think he'll tire, Brian. I think he knows what he's doing. He's so strong and comfortable here. He just doesn't want to make a mistake. But you are right, Danny. The clock is ticking away here.
20 seconds to go. He's up to 10. He needs 16 if he's going to take this event.
This is just too deliberate. I've never seen anyone run out of 60 seconds in a squat. It's never happened before.
He's up to 12. Does he have 13? If he does, he'll tie for second place. And he does. Well, he ran out of time. Now, dropping to his knees. Very good performance. 13. But not enough to topple this man, the Beast.
That's right, Eddie with a steady 15 reps to take the win. Shaw and Z among 4 men tied for second. Bjornsson, meanwhile, down in 6th on 12 reps alongside Charlet. And that drops Thor to 4th overall, 4 points off the lead, with Z even further back, tied in 7th with Kieliszkowski. Shaw stays top, but the big news is the Beast, leaping into second, just a point and a half behind the reigning champion. The man from Stoke on a mission again this year. This time, it's all going according to plan. Sarah Jane is with him now.
Eddie, congratulations on winning the squat lift. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I needed to claw back some points after the first event. I was hoping for top 3 on the first event, so a win's essential, and obviously I've got some great events coming up, so you know I'm not out of contention of winning. I'm here to win it and nothing else.
Finishing first place in the squat lift means that you get to go last in the Viking press, which puts you at a massive advantage as well, right?
Yeah, and again, it's all about conserving energy. You know, I could go all out and do 20 reps, but if I go last and I know I only have to do 12, then I'll just do 12 and put it down.
Love that. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, coming up, the battle in Botswana continues as Brian Beast and the boys pit their brawn against these mining carriages in the Viking press. That's next on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back. Next up on World's Strongest Man, it's the Viking press, named after the original pillaged people, and it's certainly going to be hell raising these things, what with 160 kilos of weight up there in those mining carriages. We've got our very own Viking standing by right here, Magnus, of course. Magnus, where's this going to hurt them?
This is more or less testing your pressing power, your shoulders, with the help from the legs.
Good to know. One other thing, it's a head-to-head event. Are you able, with everything that's going on, the blood draining from your brain, to keep track of what your opponent's doing?
Well, not too much, but you definitely want to do more than the other guy.
Fair enough. Let's see how they get on then in the Viking press.
Well, I never would have guessed that. So, the Viking press, 60 seconds to lift this weight as many times as possible. 160 kilos. Well, I can tell you that Karon and Janasia currently in the lead with 8 reps apiece. Charlet and Kieleskowski just trailing with 7. And getting ready. Popular Icelandic brute Bjornsson. And again, a rich history from that country.
Just a few 100,000 Icelanders yet through the 80s and 90s. Jean-Paul Sigmarsson, 4 titles. Magnus Fair Magnusson, another 4. There's something very special about these men. And that, no doubt, adds a little pressure and a little zip to the performance of Hafþór Bjornsson.
And if you are from Iceland, I've done the maths now, Colin.
Oh,
you have a 1 in 44,000 chance of being world's strongest man. So Bjornsson up against Nick Best from America. This not his favourite event.
No, Nick Best has a problem locking his elbows out. You can't lock your elbows, you're not going to get a good lift. You also have to hold it up there for the right amount of time, and you can't double dip. That's another item in Viking press. In other words, you can't bend your legs a second time.
Well, Bjornsson already at 9.
Good hit. This is impressive. 11. Weight at the top.
Down. Last warning.
Didn't quite lock that one out.
Hold.
Getting a warning from the referee for not holding out. Best struggling now. He's had enough.
He's had his warning, Bjornsson. He knows it.
Down.
Getting encouragement from Best, but look, if you look, that's, yeah, he is double dipping his knees, which is not allowed, and that's enough to Bjornsson. Still, 14 reps, along with a bit of encouragement and a bit of sportsmanship from Best.
Yes, he's a good man, Best, there. He knew he wasn't going to do particularly well. 3 reps, hey-ho, he says. Viking-like performance, though. Well done, Hafþór. 14 reps for the big Icelander. Very impressive.
Now, this is the moment, Colin.
Yeah, it's a good angle to see it at, actually. As he catches it with bent legs. You're just not allowed to do that. If you were to extrapolate it out, you might as well squat all the way under it and stand up with it. So there's no jerking allowed.
It always takes some time with the fans.
Who doesn't want a photo with a 6'9" giant?
Well, Zaviskas, a mere 6'3". And Shaw, a towering 6'8". Well, in the old days, you'd have said Zaviskus would have this.
Ready up, land, lift.
But Shaw is on such great form. And look.
Yeah, and of course, Zadrunas, that injury to his neck, it's definitely damaged his right shoulder. And oh, he's starting to lean forward. There's Zaviskus. He's almost done for double dipping. Brian Shaw looks solid, though.
Well, Zaviskus on 2. Maybe he'll give it another go. It looks beaten for the moment. Shaw up to 9, 14 to beat, just over 30 seconds.
You're allowed to take a rest. In the old days, you weren't, but nowadays, you can just re-chalk your hands. The full 60 seconds are yours.
So Zaviskus just taking his time. Knocked his head there.
Mere flesh wound, he'll be all right. It's Big Z. Oh, he's running out of time here, Brian, again. He's got to get with it. Good rep.
Up to 12. Think that's it. And it is. Well, Brian Shaw
doesn't get that 13th.
Doesn't get the 13th, but does get second place with 12 reps. And Zaviskus, a head injury, and 2 reps. He's laughing.
I'm pleased he's still smiling, Zaviskus. Oof! It was quite a bump, wasn't it? I don't think you can blame that, though, for his low reps. He just doesn't have the power in the shoulders this year.
And Eddie Hall, no stranger to injury himself.
Last year at World's Strongest Man, I managed to dislocate 2 fingers, completely incapacitating my hand, and I came 3rd overall. You know, if I come 3rd with 1 hand, what can I do with 2 hands? Definitely proved that I am one of the strongest men on the planet. At the end of the day, we are all alpha males, and we all want to beat each other. The qualifying events to get into the final were relatively easy. You've got to take every event to get maximal points. Hopefully, as you get more towards the end, you can relax and obviously not do the last maybe 1-2 events. And that's massively important, and I'm going into the final 100% full of energy, full of confidence.
And here he is, the 29-year-old giant, up against just an extraordinary competitor, Lissis. Incredibly competitive, explosive power. Nothing he can't do, really.
Well, he can certainly Viking press, but Eddie Hall, I've never seen him beaten in this event. In fact, I've never seen him even have anyone close to him. Look at that shoulder power. His legs, he barely uses them. His arms are like legs. Last to go, so he knows what he's got to beat, Danny. That's 14, and he's blown through these first few.
Really has. He's up to 11 already with 35 seconds to go. Knows what he needs to do to win.
Lissis having a little rest as well. He'll probably be looking for 11 or 12. Ooh! I don't think he took a long enough rest there, but Hall stopped. There's still plenty of energy to go, so I imagine he'll blitz through these now.
15 seconds. That's 13 reps. That's 14 reps. 1 more, Eddie.
And that's that. No need to do any more. The beast has done it.
15 reps for Eddie Hall. Lissis, 8.
Well done, Lissis. He has nowhere near the same mass as Eddie Hall, but he's such an athlete.
So Eddie Hall takes the Viking press with 15 reps. He inched ahead of Hafthor, but... And this is how he did it. Very calculated performance there from Eddie Hall. Really by choice. He took a 21-second break in there to take the Viking press. But a bit of controversy here now. The Icelandic coach recorded something on his iPhone. They've lodged a complaint about how Hafthor was treated. So let's have a look at a replay. The last rep was called for what's known as double dipping. And that is when you don't snap the legs dead straight after pushing the first time. You then rebend slightly and catch them with soft legs. Well, Bjornsson was called for a couple of other offences earlier. including
Down.
not holding it up long enough at the top, jumping the gun a bit.
Way to the top. Down.
So not quite locking
Last
his elbows
warning.
out, but
Hold.
the offence
To the
was
top.
for
boy.
double dipping. So let's
Lift.
hand over to Magnus for Magnusson to
Down.
find out what was the problem.
Thor gets into trouble there with his lockout. Well, the referee gave a warning earlier for bending the knees in the lift. And in that last lift, to try to get that lockout in the end, he moves his hips forward and bends his knees a little bit. And unfortunately, that's not allowed.
Well, the judges and Magnus have spoken.
Eddie Hall, the Thor, and Bjornsson's side as the Brit takes his second event in a row. Brian Shaw, the only other athlete to reach double figures in the Viking press. That's not enough, though, for the American to hold on to top spot overall as Eddie sweeps into first place at the halfway stage of this grand final. Half a point between him and Shaw. Bjornsson now 3.5 points back. These three men dominating the action so far, and up next, perhaps the biggest test of this grand final. 26 tons of airplane standing ready in Gaborone.
Welcome back, everyone, to the CoreGenics World's Strongest Man. We're halfway through these grand finals, and the headline news is we could be on course for a British victory. We're at Gaborone Airport now, where our next event is coming up. But first off, a quick recap on the main points so far. Event 1 was the tyre flip. Brian Shaw taking off to an absolute flyer, 1.6 seconds faster than Bjornsson, with Caron, Kilifskovsky and Eddie Hall the next three men. Big Z, surprisingly, struggling, down in joint ninth. Savickas bounced back in the squat lift, putting in 13 reps, tying with Caron, Shaw and Martins Lissis, and that looked impressive until you saw what Eddie Hall did, 15 reps to take the win. Plain sailing from the man from Stoke-on-Trent, and he took the next event too, the Viking press. Eddie having no problem with his overhead lockers, another 15 reps, one more than Bjornsson, 3 more than Shaw. And that means with 3 events to go, Eddie Hall is in first place, but only half a point ahead of the reigning champion, with Thor and Caron slightly further back, but the entire leading quartet separated by only 4.5 points.
That's the state of play, and this is the next challenge, pulling a 26-ton airplane. Over to Colin and Danny.
You make it sound so easy, James, pulling a 26-ton airplane. Up till now, of course, it's been the bus pull, 15 tons over 20 metres. This, 26 tons over 30 metres. Just a classic strongman event. Here's who's had a go so far. Well, Nick Best, currently 5th. He managed 21.38 metres. Then it was the turn of Caron from Canada, 29.81 metres. He got so close, but Janashia managed it. 50.25 seconds. After him, it was Lissis, also managed it. Faster, 49.3 seconds. Currently second, and after a slow start, Savickas forging ahead, 47.73 seconds for the plane pull. And up next, the mighty Kilifskovsky. First great pole since Pudzianowski.
Mariusz Pudzianowski, my goodness. 5 World's Strongest Man titles. The nickname, the Dominator. Well deserved. Pudzianowski changed the face of strongman. Quite literally with that sculpted body. And Kilifskovsky following in his steps. This guy's a great athlete, Danny.
Go!
He is the lightest athlete in the grand final. Will that count against him?
Well, he's jet propelled in everything he does. He's so explosive, but slip at the start, that's gonna always put you off a little bit, but sometimes you have an amazing way of making up for it in an almost panic moment. So maybe that's just set him off here, because he's flying along,
He
excuse
really
the
is.
pun.
Plain sailing is another pun you can have, Colin, but look at this. He's kept low, he's kept fast, he's kept that rhythm up. The wheel must cross the line.
The white line, keep your eye on it. Those little tiny wheels cross in 40 seconds.
Wow, that is an incredible time. Not just for Kilifskovsky, but an incredible time overall.
Just, I mean, the most incredible thing was he slipped at the start. I can't believe the way he recovered, but look how low he is. Reminds me of Pudzianowski in so many ways.
Well, Charlet is up next. He's suffered just a little niggle, if you remember, in the bus pull.
Very high there. In fact, he's actually lifting the wheels off the ground. Those little towing wheels. I'm not sure that's great. And look at the way it's rocking around. It needs to be lower, really.
Just listen to the sound of it. Complete concentration, keeping that rhythm up. Can't afford to slow down.
Well, I mean, you look at his body position compared to Kieliszkowski, it's almost like big monster steps. It's working, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's heading towards the line, but I don't think he'll beat 40 seconds.
Well, 35 seconds gone. Potential to take second.
I think he will do.
Yes!
Absolutely, 44.14 seconds.
There's more than one way to pull a plane, I guess. That was...
that old phrase.
Yeah, absolutely. I use it so often. But Charlet, he seemed to use his hamstrings and his legs very well. Not much power with the arms, though.
He's with SJ now.
That was such a gutsy performance, and you're currently second in the plane pool. Absolutely great work. But talk us through what actually happened, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the pull. I got a calf strain on the truck pull in the heats, so I was always going to be worried about this event. It's not really bothered me through the whole competition, but that initial start could really feel some pressure through the calf. But happy at my time. Hopefully it can get me some points and then fight hard in the last two events.
Well done for pushing through. We're really proud of you.
Thank you very much.
So we turn our attention to Brian Shaw, one of two four-time champions here.
Coming into World's Strongest Man, the qualifying round is, for me, I try to get through as easily as I possibly can so that I'm fresh for the final. And this year I got in a very tough group, so I knew that I couldn't coast a lot because everybody's trying to make it through and only two of us are going to make it. I always set goals. I had a goal, obviously, to win World's Strongest Man, and I accomplished that. Every year I've just wanted to add to that legacy, and I've wanted to add to those titles. There's some very, very elite club men that have accomplished 4 World's Strongest Man titles. You know, and having two of us in the same competition most likely will never happen again.
Well, gearing up now.
Are you ready?
And we're expecting great things.
Give me a nod. Yes, go!
In this particular event, it's usually been Brian Shaw or Bjornsson who's won. Oh, but look at that, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, he's lifting the front wheels up there. He's very high indeed. Now at 206 kilos body weight, perhaps he'll get away with it. So remember Kieliszkowski, the leader on 40 seconds, he was so low.
And that will have an effect, won't it? Because those front wheels will take away a bit of energy.
Well, I mean, that's actually just the towing pole for this plane, and it's shifting around left to right. It's not just being lifted off the floor. That'll affect those front wheels, which isn't great. A lot of friction added in. 38-39. He's not going to beat Kieliszkowski. That's a surprise, a huge surprise.
So what will his time be? 47.6 seconds. Now that's a full 7 seconds behind Kieliszkowski, which is a surprise.
He's in third place at the moment, Brian. And if Thor has a good run, that'll put him into fourth. Certainly gives Eddie Hall a chance of getting close to him, or maybe even bettering him for once. Look at those wheels. It's not just the ones he's lifting off the ground, it's the other ones. You see the way they swerve left and right? The others now can perhaps learn from that.
Well, absolutely. Bjornsson would have been keeping a close eye on that.
Stefan Solvi Pedersen, his friend and training partner from Iceland there, trying to fire him up. Get the Viking spirit going.
And because this is such an extraordinary thing, and so strong, man. If you have just tuned in, this is a man pulling a plane. A human man.
You do forget sometimes quite how incredible this is. He is a 200-kilo man, though. Well, 30-odd stone.
Look, he's learned nothing about the front wheels on the tow bar.
But look at the wild power he's attacking it with. He's missed the rope a couple of times. But he could do with being a lot lower like Kieliszkowski was.
30 seconds have passed. 40.07 to beat.
He's going to give Kieliszkowski a run for his money.
What will he do? Well, 41.1 seconds. Really nothing in it.
Well, a second in it in the end between him and first, enough that's a shock as well. I mean, he was last year's winner on the Hercules plane pull. Staggering left and right, and look at the wheels again. Every time you twist those wheels, we've all driven a car, you know exactly what it's like. It causes friction.
Well, this is what happens, as we all know, when you try and pull a plane.
It's hard work, isn't it? Hard work, this.
So Eddie Hall, then.
Yes!
Been studying from the sidelines. There's the steam train effect.
Certainly a lot lower than Bjornsson and Shaw. Not quite as low as Kieliszkowski, and he's got this going well, though. All his forces going forward, and he is the last man to go. He gets that honour thanks to winning the Viking press, and he's really charging well now.
If he can beat Kieliszkowski, that would be an extraordinary thing.
It's going to be very close. 5 seconds to do it, 5 meters to go.
Well, he hasn't done it, but he has got 42.92 seconds, placing him third.
And he was third last year, but last year it was Shaw and Bjornsson in front. This time it's Kieliszkowski who takes the win. That is a surprise.
I don't think anyone would have put money on Kieliszkowski taking that one. But Sarah Jane's with him now.
That was absolutely incredible. The time was amazing. #1 in the plane pool. How do you feel?
I am very happy. It is a huge surprise for me because I am the lightest athlete in today.
Well done and best of luck for the rest of the grand final.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mathias looking rosy, beating Bjornsson by just over a second. Eddie Hall next in third, but significantly Charlet pushing Shaw down to fifth in an event Brian usually makes his own. That leaves the American and Bjornsson now tied on 31.5 points, and with Eddie now beginning to pull clear. It's those three men that look set for the podium. It just remains to be seen in what order. Can the Brit make history? Worryingly for his rivals, next up it's Eddie's favourite event, the deadlift. Coming up on CoreGenics World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to Botswana and the grand final. Preparations underway here for what could prove a decisive moment in the race for this year's title. Over to Sarah Jane.
Thanks, James. Now it's time for the penultimate event of the grand final. It is, of course, the deadlift. Now, Magnus, we know that Eddie is in first place, and we also know that this is his event. Could he pull away with the deadlift?
Well, even though Eddie has pulled the biggest weight in history, nobody's running away with anything here.
So let's focus on the competition. Who is he up against in this event to really trouble him?
Well, he's up against Brian Shaw, Thor, Konstantin Janezia, and JF Caron. All fantastic deadlifters.
We are extremely excited. There's no time like the present. Let's do the deadlift.
Yes. And this really is where a lineup that we're enjoying, the likes of this year, comes into its own. The deadlift, the opening weight, 380 kilos. Now, Best and Kieliszkowski crashed out at 380. They couldn't manage 400. Charlet and Savickas could, but they couldn't manage 440. Now we join the event as things heat up, Colin.
Yes, two other men have gone at 440. Caron matching his personal best, and comfortably. Janezia, the Georgian, 20 kilos above his personal best. It was hard work, but he got it. He was well happy with that. So, 4 men still to come at 440 kilos.
And Lissis from the United States, his attempt at 440 kilos.
You know, he's only ever done 400 in competition before today. He did that in the previous round easily, though.
He's got it.
A 10% improvement on his personal best in one day.
He's absolutely incredible, Lissis. how he's kind of come from nowhere and fast.
He's got the X factor, you know, when it comes to competition, you know, cometh the hour, cometh the man. That's Lissus. Extraordinary. Just loves having a crowd there cheering him on. No, I'm not sure he's worth too much more.
Well, he's still in it, that's the important thing. As is the mighty Brian Shaw, the world's strongest man. But for how much longer?
Fascinated to see how this goes up. Disappointed with the plane pull. He needs to make up for things here. Yes, solid.
Very solid from the big man.
Well, there's no happy faces right now. He needs to get down to business, make up for what should have or could have been a win in the plane pull. Eddie Hall finished third in that plane pull, but still sits on top overall on points. He's the world record holder in this event.
We remember last year he was able to lift half a ton.
Extraordinary, but has he got the fitness at the end of the world's strongest man grand finals? Oh!
Another question, Eddie Hall. So he moves on.
That was a little statement, wasn't it? Wow, he's such a fast puller, Hall. And any question of his fitness, I think, has just been answered right there.
One more athlete to go. And of course, Hafthor Bjornsson.
So much can still happen with the stones to come. Oh, they're all so tight on points, but Bjornsson, to hang with the others, needs this. So desperately wants to break the duck and win this title, and look at that! That too is a brilliant lift. Just about as fast as Hall.
And that is almost a message to Hall. Anything you can do, I can do.
Maybe not better, but just about as well. And he is 6'9". I mean, it's not exactly an advantage being tall. Oof, solid, really solid.
Well, then that inevitably means we move on. The new weight, 460 kilos. That's right.
Well, Bjornsson, 450 kilos is his personal best. He's one of the best lifters in history. This is way, way, way above Caron's PB.
Lift.
This would be extraordinary. And consider how much lighter he is than the others. Bar Lissus.
Oh, well, he was on his way. Just too much for the Canadian. But a brave attempt. So he's eliminated at 440. And Lissus on the sidelines with his mother, Anita. Yes, riding his time. Janashia, his attempt at 460.
I love Janashia. He's just one man who goes wild when he needs to. Can he turn it on now, though? He's already had one personal best. This to go way above it.
Just involuntary tongue spasm. Around strongmen enough, you learn these things. 440, he is eliminated. And Brian Shaw keeping a keen eye on proceedings.
It's one of those weights, you see.
There's another tongue spasm there.
I mean, Shaw, he's never actually done this weight in competition.
Marty,
It's a huge weight. I mean, it's over 1,000 pounds now.
What can Lissus pull out of the bag? This would be extraordinary.
It's actually only 4 men in history, over 1,000 pounds to join a very exclusive club. No.
460, just too much. But there was a moment there where he kind of accepted it, didn't he? 440, eliminated from the event.
1,000 pounds, 2 inches off the floor club anyway. I mean, he definitely went up. Oh, he's very impressive as an athlete, isn't he? Pound for pound, perhaps the strongest man in the world.
So, Brian Shaw.
Ready, lift.
Big lift this for Shaw. He's done 1,000 pounds on bars that are higher than this. You know how much this would mean to him.
A nervous Eddie Hall there, just in case. Brian Shaw can do this with ease.
Oh, his hips are rocking about.
Well, it wasn't easy. but it was done.
Very gingerly goes down to 2 knees. That took so much out of him. You just wonder if there's anything else going on here. Good for Eddie Hall, good man. Cramp perhaps. Something's not absolutely right with the champ. But he's in the lead. Best man to go clear.
Which means the pressure will be elsewhere now.
Look at the way his hips were kicking off to his left. All his weight over on his left leg. Definitely protecting something.
So Hall, what have you got, Eddie? 460 kilos.
Are you ready? Lift! Lift!
This is a club he's definitely in, the 1,000-pound club, and that's why!
Look at that from the beast.
Not even a hitch.
Wow. And just walks off.
Glance over to the tent where the rest of them are. I'm out, says Brian, I think. I can't imagine him going too much heavier. Will anyone go much heavier? It's definitely 10, 20 kilos more in this man, though.
Just stunning. So Bjornsson has to attack this. Just watched Eddie do it with relative ease.
Defining moment right here. He needs this so badly to keep in the running. Oh, Hafthor, brilliant lift.
Have that, Hall. The co-leader, 460 kilos. And Brian Shaw, is this going somewhere? He's not sure he can go.
I think you couldn't be more right with that statement, Danny, but this man, so fired up, buoyed on by all his friends and family, matching Eddie Hall, lift for lift. Brian too, of course. What will we go to now?
Well, we kind of saw it coming, didn't we? He has withdrawn from the deadlift. It's a hamstring problem.
Oh, 472.5 kilos. Goodness me.
And this really has become a showdown between the two men, the likes of which the competition has never really seen.
Ready? Lift!
A big jump from 460. Here we go. Hall, he's been in this territory before.
Wow.
It's remarkable. You think how many events he's done before this. When he pulled that 500 kilos, that's all he did all year. Built up for that.
And really trying to show it's not having a deep effect on him. Psychological gamesmanship, maybe.
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah. The two are permanently staring each other. That's who he first looked at when he stood up with it. It's quite difficult to pretend it's easy with 472.5 kilos, though, as the slow motion showed. Here we go. Can the Viking fulfill his destiny that he so much believes in?
It really is between these two guys now. 472.5 kilos.
Bjornsson's such a great stone lifter as well. If he can hang with Hall, he'll back himself every single day of the week in the stones.
Up it goes. Or does it? No. And Hall has the deadlift.
Well, well, well. Hand it to Bjornsson. Great lifting. Actually, he's wasted some energy compared to Shaw, who's withdrawn. They get the same lift at 460. Got it to his knees. Great pull. And that has to be one of the most epic showdowns in World's Strongest Man history. And the relief and happiness for Hall is palpable. SJ?
Eddie Hall, that was an epic battle. Congratulations for winning the deadlift, as we knew you would.
Yeah, thank you. That's my event, and it was one of the bankers I had, so I'm very happy. I've only got to come top 4 on the stones, and I've won World's Strongest Man, so I think I've got it. I'm very happy.
I'm so excited for you. Best of luck from all the Brits.
Thank you.
That's Eddie Hall's third event win in this year's Grand Final, but it's also, quite possibly, the most significant victory of his career. He picks up 10 points with that mammoth lift, and with Bjornsson and Shaw tying in second, it means that Eddie's now 4 points clear of them with one event to go. No wonder he's confident. Still, with some incredible stone lifters lined up against him, he can't afford to let up now. 24 years, and now just a few more minutes of pain stand between Eddie Hall and bringing home that title. As you can see, we saved something pretty special till last. It's the Atlas Stones, ready to decide this year's Coregenics World's Strongest Man. Well, can Eddie Hall become the first Brit in a generation to win the title? Will perennial podium finisher Hapthorpe finally reach the top step, or can Brian make it title number 5? Here it is, the climax of the 2017 Coregenics World's Strongest Man. Over to Colin and Danny.
Thanks, James. Well, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. The marquee event in the grand final. It's the Atlas Stones. Lift those stones onto those plinths as fast as you can. Well, Janashia managed 4 in 35.36 seconds. That's what the rest of the guys have to beat. Will it be Lissis? Well, 5th place after 5 events.
A man who did all 5 stones last year was Lissis.
Kieliszkowski, a great pole.
Not such a great stone lifter. The reason I point out Lissis being a 5 stone man last year is because, let's not forget, Bjornsson and indeed Brian Shaw are considered better stone lifters than Eddie Hall. How many people can get in between them? 4 points, you see. So he could play a massive role here, Lissis, and help his compatriot Brian Shaw.
Both men pretty speedy, it has to be said. 35.36 the time to beat.
And that's for 4. Now, if Lissis puts this on, he's done a 5th stone. He's in the lead. And that'll be one man that Eddie Hall will have a problem with.
Look at that, all 5 stones completed, Lissis, in around 33 seconds. Kieliszkowski struggling slightly.
Never seen him do all 5 before at the end here, no. Something wrong with his stomach there.
Well, he managed 4 stones in 33.01 seconds, but Lissis currently in the lead. All 5 stones, 33.24 seconds.
That is fast as well. Wow. First man to do all 5. I bet he won't be the last. Will Bjornsson, Shaw and Eddie Hall do them, though? That's the question. Oh, so much still to come. This is epic, it really is.
Next up, then, from Canada, JF Caron, currently in 4th place. Up against, well, he's got the height, hasn't he, for this? Bjornsson.
Nicknamed King of the Stones.
Well, last year, Caron managed 4. Will he get his 5th this year? Just making it look easy, isn't he, Bjornsson?
Yes, the king is majestic in his early stones here. Off one motion, beautiful. But Caron isn't so far behind.
33.24 to beat. It looks like Bjornsson's going to do that very easily. He gets a wriggle on.
He's done all he can, Bjornsson. Giving it everything.
There you go. That's how you do it. Caron just taking his time now. Wants to complete.
Well, he now knows that he's done a fast 4. He's not going to beat Lissis, so he might as well take his time here and join the 5 stone club and finish in style. But if you're an Eddie Hall fan, this might not be the best thing.
Just can't manage it. Beaten by the 5th stone again, Colin.
Just like last year, he says with a smile. He's had a great run, though, but this man, Bjornsson, 28.99. I've never seen Shaw look so pensive, nervous of what's to come.
That's Eddie Hall to come. Who wouldn't be nervous?
Now, Bjornsson's done stones quicker than that before, but the set's never been this heavy. Which plays into his hands, no doubt.
So here we go. The world's strongest man, Brian Shaw, who, if he wins this, will tie for the most wins of that title, up against the man who wants it more than anyone, Eddie Hall.
Well, there's 4 points difference between these men. So Hall has to get that 5th stone up, and he'll know, even if Brian gets it up, that he's done it. So that's fact. Anything else, and it'll be down to times.
Look at this. Eddie Hall attacking this event. Straight down and up. Already on his 3rd, moves to his 4th.
Brian not quite his quickest. Perhaps that hamstring causing problems.
Here we go. If Eddie Hall gets this stone on that plinth, he is the world's strongest man.
Brian Shaw starting to catch, looming in the background. Oh my goodness, come on Eddie.
This is it. Oh.
Well, it could come down to his speed on the 4th stone. It's going to come down to the maths, and Shaw goes down. Oh goodness.
Shaw's down. Come on, Eddie.
Well, he's got under 10 seconds here to put it out of doubt. If he slams this on, you're right, he will be the world's strongest man.
He's done it, and he is. Eddie the Beast Hall, Britain's Eddie the Beast Hall, is the world's strongest man. The first Brit in 24 years to manage it.
Well done, Eddie Hall. He would have done it anyway if he hadn't have done the 5th stone. I've been told he was the fastest to 4. But that's sweet that he did put that stone up. Puts it out of doubt.
What a moment.
Who are you? Stoke-on-Trent, Eddie the Beast Hall. I'm sure there's many people in Staffordshire, all over England, in Great Britain, very proud right now.
You can't say he didn't earn it. This is actually the moment where he won on points. He didn't realise at the time he'd done it fast enough with 4 stones, but he went for the 5th anyway. And he's with James now.
Eddie, it happened. You are world's strongest man.
Feels absolutely amazing. I just want to say that no, I've never said this before, but I promised my nan on the deathbed I would win World's Strongest Man one day, and I have just done that. I love you, Nan. I love you. I did it. Yes! Yes!
How much does it cost you getting to be #1?
It's cost me my life. It's cost me so much family time. Just so much. And now I can be a husband and a father again. You will not see me at World's Strongest Man again. I'm sorry, but I have conquered my dream. That is all I wanted to do. I want to go and enjoy life now. I want to go and enjoy my kids.
I'll take the tacky.
Thanks a lot,
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Yes!
Eddie Hall well and truly on top of the world. Hafthor Bjornsson once again is the runner-up, with Brian Shaw rounding out the podium in 3rd place.
Well, emotions of all sorts running high, ambitions realised for Eddie Hall, experiences made for people like Lissis, but also heartbreak for Bjornsson, and indeed Brian Shaw, hampered by that hamstring, and the man who lost his title.
It's always been very important to me to not show weakness. I've always tried my best to fight through, you know, whatever.
Oh, come on.
It's the richest I've ever been in my life. To have my lady back here and my mom, Anita, for this moment to be here 2nd year in a row, accomplishing a childhood dream in front of the people I love most. There's nothing like that.
Just incredible moments. But for this guy, none more incredible than this. The champion is Edward Hall from Stoke-on-Trent, aka Eddie the Beast Hall, now the strongest man in the world.
So we saw a history made then on this, the 40th anniversary edition of the CoreGenX World's Strongest Man. Congratulations to the amazing Eddie Hall, and also to all of these incredible athletes who've given us such a fantastic competition here in Botswana. From Magnus, from Sarah Jane, from Eddie and myself. We'll see you soon on Channel 5.